What is up, guys? Welcome back to Conversation episode number 55. Today I have a very special guest, Jose. You have seen him before, obviously in Sean's shop. He is here by himself today. We're going to be talking about uh, the that bridge that collapsed supposedly because of that ship, the eclipse, and also the future of AI and what we think may happen. Will Ready Player One be shortly in a few years, or would it actually take a lot longer than what we expect? So we're gonna get into it. First off, for the people that don't know you, Jose, let us know a little bit about yourself. What do you do? What's your background? Who is Jose?
I am 29 years young. I'm a mechanic at Firestone. Been working there for a couple years now. And part time YouTube. How do you say? Co-star, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. So
And
he's also on
on Inspired
Sean's channel.
Dreams
Yeah.
channel.
So
He
definitely go
was
check him
supposed
out.
he was supposed to be here today, but he backed out. So
Stuff pops up, life.
yeah.
But so what else other than being a technician? How did you get into being a technician, and what made you want to pursue that career?
Just a love for cars. Like working on them. Love the pretty much the whole car scene.
Yeah,
I more lean towards the imports, but I like every car.
yeah,
Nowadays, before I was strictly nothing but imports, but
yeah.
over time,
Like in the '90s.
you grow out,
Yeah.
you break through the shell of,
Well, I
being
think
into only one thing.
the American cars have come a long way.
Oh, they
Like
have.
especially when it comes to suspension.
Yeah.
Like the for me the biggest one that I hated Mustangs.
Hmm.
Now when you look at them, like, man, they actually look pretty nice.
Yeah.
And then them switching from their suspension to going to independent suspension made a big difference. Obviously, we're both really big into drifting, so that that had definitely helps them in that
Yeah.
scene. Definitely come with good power. But let's get into some of those topics. First topic that I want to get to, I guess, that's coming up recently is the eclipse here on April 8th. If you haven't gotten your like glasses, I guess they actually sell some at HEB for like $5, I
Oh
believe.
yeah.
Yeah, here in Texas we have HEB. If you're watching, that's out of state. Just
Walmart,
check
I
your
guess.
Walmart or your local market, grocery market. That they should have some. I don't know. Ours does. We actually bought some just to see the eclipse. I think it's gonna happen at 11 here in Texas Central Time. I don't know what
And
Obviously, it's gonna
isn't
happen
it supposed
differently.
to go from North California area down towards Florida?
I thought it would go. I believe I could be wrong. I believe the path of it. I think it comes from the south up.
Oh, it goes the other way.
Yeah,
So from like
from
Mex.
Texas all the way up. I
Okay.
believe I could be wrong. It could come, but I know
Unless
it's
that was the
going on.
last one. I think that was
The
the last
last
one.
one did. The
Okay.
last one came across. This one is going up, like from Texas, all the way up to New York. I believe it like makes just cross the United States pretty
Yeah.
much.
Splits it in
Um,
half, sort of deal.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So what do you think about that? Like I've been hearing a lot of people on different podcasts, different on TikTok. People are like talking. I don't know if they're talking crazy, but they're talking like get ready, like get supplies, get water, get like something major is gonna happen. I know some, which is kind of weird. That kind of goes with that is some states are closing their schools.
Mm.
At least that's what I've heard. I've talked to a lot of local parents around here, or in Texas at least, here where I live. They're gonna stay open. Also, where my brother-in-law lives, they're gonna stay open. Where you live, Victoria, they're gonna stay open. But some states are closing it. So I'm wondering, like, why? What's the purpose of them closing it? What do you think is happening?
Though from what I've heard and seen on social media and stuff like that, I feel like they're leaning. All the conspiracy theories are leaning more towards it being like a biblical thing.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Supposedly, it's when the 3 days of darkness happened. It's like around the same time. Some people are saying that it's April 4th that it's gonna start, but I don't know.
The darkness,
Yeah,
or is that when the eclipse is gonna supposedly start all the way till the
I guess
eighth?
it's when it's gonna start. I have no idea. That's just what I've seen so far.
Yeah,
But it's pretty crazy that a lot of people are taking that
pretty serious.
very serious, and if not, they're just like cautious of it.
Bit, yeah.
Taking into account that if other people are going to be going crazy around that time, they might as well do it too.
Yeah,
Like, might as well prepare.
like stock up on toilet paper, water,
Yeah.
canned foods.
I mean, it is a pretty scary thing, especially if you're like in that direct path,
Yeah,
and you just one moment it's sunny and then it
yeah,
just turns
completely
into
dark.
dark.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because
That's pretty
it's a
scary.
full like. What's crazy is that eclipses usually, from when I remember when I was little, they didn't happen that often.
No.
Like it would, excuse me, it would take years, and we just had one like a few months ago,
Yeah.
where it was like a part. At least here in Texas, a partial eclipse, where like it looked like you had sunglasses on, where it
Yeah.
was like dim, and you're like, what the heck is it dim outside? Like you couldn't really tell because it was still light,
Yeah.
but it wasn't as bright. It was weird.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, I was in Austin. So when that happened, I was in Austin. We were downtown and we're outside, and yeah, it did get like if the clouds went in front of the sun,
yeah,
it kind of got like
but it was
dim.
like weirder. Like it had like a weird shade, like almost like a gray tint to it.
Yeah.
Like at least for me, I don't know. Like it people could view it differently. Um, but what I don't know. I don't get the I get the scare, but I don't get why. Well, the other thing is like they said that these past eclipses that if they're making like a symbol where it's like they pretty much is a sign from God saying that the United States has been like condemned or like they put it like an X on it.
Mm-hmm.
From what I've seen,
No,
other people,
it does make an X.
yeah, it makes like how
Yeah.
it
Well, the
goes
last one that
across, and then
came,
this one like
yeah,
this. Yeah.
that's pretty crazy. Never haven't heard of that yet.
No,
No.
there's I've seen a lot of videos. I don't know if it's just the algorithm on TikTok, just from videos that I see.
Yeah.
But they like explain how on like the Jewish that has like a Jewish symbol that is made that mean I can't remember what it means or what it was said, but it wasn't good. And especially with like the whole state of everything and the being the election year, that's kind of strange too.
Mm-hmm.
Being the vision where the Trump people and then the Biden people and the country's just being divided.
Well, we could just blame Biden for if anything crazy happens again. So,
Yeah.
like they blame him for everything, we might as well blame him for that too.
Blaming for the eclipse. Well, I don't know, man. There's just I don't know. There's a lot of crazy stuff happening, especially with the state of the economy, the state of definitely. I don't know. Like, have you ever heard the paranoid survive? Only the paranoid survive.
Yeah.
So it's
Well, I mean,
like,
it kind of like makes sense that a lot of paranoid survive because they're always ready
yeah,
because they're always paranoid.
yeah,
So
kind of like those preppers where
yeah.
everybody makes fun of them
Well, yeah,
until
the
stuff
preppers are
goes
always
down.
ready. Yeah,
Yeah,
and they're the ones that are always stocked with
yeah, everything.
everything.
Yeah,
So
especially like here in Texas, those preppers would be stocked on ammo, weapons,
yeah.
food, water. I think the main thing, the that's one thing that is scary, and the one thing that I have been worried about recently is this election. One, we already had a cyber attack, whether you believe so or not, with the phones where people that had AT and
AT and
T.
T.
I wasn't
Yeah.
affected. I had Verizon, but I do know that Verizon. Some people were affected that had Verizon, so they hit multiple the what's it called not like companies, not just AT&T, but AT&T was the main one that got
Mm-hmm.
their towers got tapped into. Obviously the government's not going to come like, yeah, we got attacked by
Yeah.
a different country.
They're always gonna keep it to where they don't want to alert the public.
Right, they don't want to create like a
Chaos.
hysteria or
Right.
chaos,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's like that happened already, right? It's kind of like are they preparing you for something? Like if something were to, because I believe if they believe if Trump is going to win, which that's how it looks like if you look at the polls, if you look at everything, it's looking like he's gonna win, no matter how much, and they indict him, no matter how much they try to criminalize him. This guy just keeps coming back and swinging and winning.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing that I ask her is they're going to somehow shut down the grid, make it to where you can't vote. And if they shut down a grid for like electricity for let's say a week, 2 weeks, a month, bro, those there's a book, I don't remember, but it has pretty much in 3 days the society would collapse
Oh yeah, for sure.
if electricity goes out for 3 days. Couldn't like world not worldwide, but just
Nationwide.
nationwide, bro, it'd be chaos. Like
Yeah. There'll
people
be
be
plenty of
robbing.
casualties and stuff like that.
Yeah, people will be robbing, going into people's homes, just just creating anarchy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that's one thing that has me. Uh, I don't want to say worried because we're kind of prepared. We're stocking up on stuff, but you definitely don't want to live through that. You know what I mean? It's kind of one of those like I don't want it to happen, but
Mm-hmm.
if it happens, it's better to be prepared. But like, what would you do in a situation like that?
I mean, just what is it called? Just stick it out.
Yeah.
Freaking just I'm already prepared, like as far as protection.
Mhm.
But I mean, if it's only 3 days, I mean, a lot can happen in 3 days. But
Yeah.
then again, it's only 3 days.
Yeah. 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 3 days isn't bad, but this was they said in 3 days. Like if you
Yeah,
know
yeah,
the power's not coming back for months,
yeah. I
in
mean,
3 days people were
I've
just
always lived like that. I've always lived, like if minimal.
yeah
I've always lived in a minimal sort of way.
yeah.
I mean, obviously, I know how to fish and hunt and stuff like that. So, for me, I think sticking it out for however long wouldn't be a problem. It would just be getting out of where I'm at, even though it's
Mm,
a small city.
yeah.
Still getting out
Well,
of there.
that's actually a benefit if you think about it.
Yeah,
Because for me, it would suck. Like I would actually want to go back to Victoria,
yeah.
and because it's smaller, there's more hunting areas. There's more places to be able to, you know, go hunt and be able to go feed your family. Because the biggest thing is there's if you got no electricity, you got no refrigeration.
Hmm.
If you got no refrigeration, you got to figure out either how to dry your fruit food or salt your meat so they can last longer. Just survival tips, then and also there's less competition
Hmm.
because I feel like in the smaller communities, especially like in Victoria, people will come together versus they'll fight
Bigger
for
cities. Yeah,
right. Here, I feel like more people would fight for resources,
yeah.
fight for because they're city people. Like all they know is the city. They don't when they go to the grocery store, they don't view they see the meat, they see the steaks, they see the chicken,
Yeah.
but they don't realize that chicken was once or that was clucking
They
and
don't even know where
eating and
the freaking thighs come from.
yeah, I mean, it's just it's like they see the I would get this tenderloin, and
Yeah.
they just see the finished product. They don't
Right.
view the cow,
Right.
And most people from Victoria, their country, they're they
Yeah.
know how to slaughter. They have slaughterhouses out there
A
and
lot of
stuff
them
like that.
do, but yeah.
Yeah,
Not everybody, but a lot of them
no,
do, and
yeah,
it's
yeah. Or if you don't know, you have friends that know.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Here, most people probably don't even have friends that know how to do that
Hmm.
stuff. So yeah, it's definitely crazy times.
Are
It's
you gonna be like a little worried about when the eclipse comes?
sorry about that. Yeah. Ooh, I just saved this man's life.
Oh.
No. I've always been fascinated with. I've always been fascinated with. Sorry about that. Just technical difficulties. I've always been fascinated with space. Now, my mind has changed a little bit about it. Uh, Not only reading the Bible, but like when I was little, um, when I would look at the science books, I love science. I always sucked at science for some reason, but I always loved it. I was always fascinated with it, right? I always got C's in science. That's the only subject I ever got C's.
Yeah.
But I loved it. I loved history and science. But whenever you would look at the planets, you would take them as that's the truth. Like, oh, that's what Saturn looks like. That's what the Earth looks like.
Yeah.
That's what Jupiter looks like. And now we come to realize that when we actually go to NASA, go to these places, they're like, no, this is all in Photoshop. This is not how they actually look. So you're like, oh, you're taking it back.
Hmm.
And then you start looking into, I wouldn't say I'm a flat earther because I don't know.
Yeah.
The truth is we don't know. Everybody is gonna have their own assumption whether if you think you're a globe or a flat earther. We're still taking our we don't know because we've never really physically been up there ourselves, right?
Hmm.
We're taking somebody else's word for it. Now, are we gonna take the Bible's word for it, where it says that we were building a firmament, and the heavens are declare His glory,
Yeah.
and so it's like, man, it's kind of interesting, and also knowing that The only treaty that has never been broken is the Antarctica Treaty,
Mm-hmm.
where all these countries that are at war currently don't fuck with it. They don't go visit. They don't go. Oh, they go visit, but they don't go like they don't let people explore. Nobody breaks that treaty.
Yeah.
Why? And I've seen. I don't know if I sent it to you where they've gotten this. They said that they go to the edge and they get this like supposedly the edge of it where you can actually hit the glass,
Mm-hmm.
and there's this. They hit it and it looks like a sapphire, but like they try to penetrate it and they make a hole in it, but that hole gets like refilled.
Yeah.
So it's like, man, why don't they let you go over there? Because people that have explored have said that there's more land beyond it.
Right.
It's not just ice. So then it's like, but why do they silence it? That's the part that the more and more you look into stuff and the more you study it, the more you trust science. Not that you distrust science, but you distrust more of what you've learned or what they taught you in school. Because it's like, well, shoot, why you start asking questions and they don't give you answers or they don't even want you to look for those answers.
Yeah.
So then it gets really curious because then it's like your parents telling you don't go into that room. Why? Why don't you? What's in that room?
Mm-hmm.
So now you're curious, right? And then if you people that do go into the room to go missing, like your brother goes missing, like what the fuck? He went to that room and he's missing. Shit, what the hell did he find?
Yeah.
There must be something in there. Or he's like, hey, I saw this in there, and he goes missing. Oh shit, it
Or
must have
nobody
been
believes him and
right.
he's
No, because nobody's
labeled.
gonna believe him,
Yeah. Or
right?
he's labeled as a crazy person or so what have
Exactly.
you.
So
Yeah.
then it's like everybody's crazy until they're proven correct.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I don't know. What
But
do you think?
as far as the eclipse, like are you still feeling the same way as you did before, like back in elementary, or you think you're a
Mm,
little more worried
I'm more
of these
worried. I'm more.
biblical things or like these
Yes.
conspiracy
So
things?
recently, yes. Recently, definitely not only because of the eclipse, it's because of I saw this really good documentary that is called I think it's called From Babylon to America.
Mm-hmm.
To it, if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It is it's obviously biblical stuff,
Right.
church, and it like breaks it down literally from biblical time. It's kind of like prophecies
Mm-hmm.
that it goes from the tower of not the tower the uh, do you remember the on Daniel there was a statue that he saw. So the head was made of gold, his shoulders were made of silver. The I think that the torso was made of clay, I believe, and then the leg. I could be wrong, like I said, but I do remember the head, and then the feet were made out of clay and like stones. So he like literally breaks it down from like the golden age and then the silver and then it goes down to I think it's bronze. Sorry,
Yeah.
the chest is bronze.
Bronze.
The bronze so it breaks it down literally from like every empire. He breaks it like perfectly
Mm-hmm.
all the way down to he gets to America, where is that's the new Babylon. To where and if you know Babylon, Babylon was never conquered.
Yeah.
So Babylon got its destruction by the inside.
Yeah.
So the
Burnt to
king
the ground.
yeah,
Yeah.
it went to the ground, but by it got invaded, the doors were wide open
Right.
because of how they had bad advisors. The advisors told the king, "Let's go right out and meet with them." They knew they were gonna win because nobody has ever infiltrated their walls. Their walls were too high,
Mm-hmm.
so they're like, "Hey, go out and meet them in battle, out in the field, like out." And they lost, so the doors were wide open, and the enemy infantry just went right in. And I've always like everybody I talk to is like, I'm originally not from here, right? I'm an immigrant.
Mm-hmm.
I've been happy to be an American citizen now, but I've always understood that the United States, if it were ever to fail, it would be from the inside.
Which is kind of like what's happening now.
Exactly. Like where United States, like that's the only thing that scares me about the eclipse. It's not so much about the signs; it's how people will treat those signs,
Yeah.
and if people are gonna act crazy, because if people were just like it's another eclipse, well, then I wouldn't be so worried. But mainly, is mine is the mentality of people.
Mm-hmm.
What are they thinking? So I can get ahead of if they're thinking is this gonna go south, and they're preparing, and if they're preparing, why they if it does go south, then I need to prepare too.
Not the like I feel like so I feel like the eclipse is gonna be like yeah that's gonna be a natural phenomenon happening,
Yeah, yeah,
but and it might not have any meaning behind it, but I feel like the higher powers that run the United
Mm-hmm.
States are gonna treat it as a like get people, kind of like get
Wild
them
up.
panicking, yeah, get them
Yeah.
wild up, and to where like they are putting out the conspiracy theory saying like this is gonna happen, so you got to
Yeah.
prepare, and then it's gonna be like I don't know if you saw the riots, how
Mm-hmm.
like they
Dude,
they
that's
they
what
saw
made.
how people that were part of like the government and or police were starting the fires and starting stuff like
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
or they
yeah,
never really caught them, and
yeah,
the actual public was trying to stop those people
yeah, yeah, yeah.
from doing it, from burning places down and stuff like that. So I feel like they're gonna take that eclipse, and they're gonna have certain people there, what is it called, insinuating riots,
Yeah, like
stuff like that.
instigating,
Yeah,
like instigating the riots, instigating.
yeah,
Well, yeah, and then the laws, right? Like for example, in California, you can steal up to $900, and they can't do nothing about it.
right.
So then it's like if and a lot of those people are moving to Texas or moving to other states.
Hmm.
So if they bring those beliefs with them, like I think in Miami recently in spring break, I think the mayor had to shut it down because people were like going crazy. They were going into stores, doing everything that they do in California, going in, breaking in, stealing all this stuff.
Yeah,
So then he's like, you know what, spring break isn't gonna keep happening here if that keeps happening. Like they like arrest a lot of people. I think murders go up during that time because people are drunk, stupid, and just instigating fights, instigating just over dumb stuff.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, I don't know, man. It definitely, I still believe the future looks bright. But still, definitely be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of what could go wrong, and
Yeah.
prepare
I
accordingly.
mean, it could be just a normal day, and
Yeah.
then that's all it is.
Well,
Just
kind of like the Y2K. You remember that?
yeah, or
2020.
2012,
Yeah.
or yeah, pretty much all those other ones. But I feel like it'll be just a normal day. But even if it ends up just being a normal day, just I will always be like a
Paranoid. Yeah.
weary and aware of everything going on. Like,
Yeah. I definitely do think that we're at end times.
mm,
Like I know people have been like saying like, "Oh man, we're like probably for the longest time," but like it just seems like we're at the brink of World War III, where our own the greatest superpower that has ever existed in modern times, the United States, is failing. Our money is failing.
mm-hmm,
People are leaving our currency. It's like we might be living in one of like the Great Depression times,
mm-hmm,
where and this is another thing too that people don't realize how quickly things can shift.
yeah,
Today we could be a democracy, which technically we're not a democracy, we're a republic, and I think that's what people have forgotten. The United States isn't wasn't built to be a democracy; it was built to be a republic, which a republic is gives the power to the people.
yeah,
If you look at history, democracies always turn into communism. Like as time has evolved, because people love power.
mm-hmm,
Like that's right now, people where the Democrats and the Republicans where they're fighting for power. They're not fighting for you and me. They're fighting to keep their own power. Yeah, the Republicans fight a little bit more for us, for the common person, but there's so much corruption, and I feel like the United States has been the corruption is now open to where you see it, and I practically view it like Mexico. Like
mm-hmm,
Mexico, the corruption is it's known.
yeah,
Like the presidents are bought off. You know that the cartels run it. The government officials are just there for as their puppets. They're like, we're gonna give you this couple hundred millions of dollars, pass these laws, or let me do my thing. Don't bat an eye. Yeah, I'll give you a couple of my underlings, but that's just the price.
yeah,
They got
yeah.
caught. They did something stupid. Okay, cool, take them.
That's a lot. That's a whole nother rabbit hole. Fucking.
But that's what I feel like the United States is becoming, bro.
Yeah.
Like the whenever the president's son has all these criminals doing crack, has it on YouTube. They found cocaine in the president's house, in the White House.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Right.
You know what I
That's
mean?
crazy.
It's nuts. And then the other censorship, like maybe this conversation probably won't even like get shut down for whatever reason. And I'm not even a big platform. I'm just out here spilling what my not my beliefs, but just what I think.
Mm-hmm.
My opinions.
Yeah.
Because that's all we are. Is just opinions. I'm not trying to tell you how you should believe or how you should live. I'm just giving out how I live and my opinions. and interviewing interesting people like Jose here. But yeah, I don't know. Let's move on to something a little bit more crazy. Oh, not crazy, but just more, I don't know, fun, I guess. Like the AI. How far away do you think we are? If everything goes well, if
To be honest, I feel like by 20 by 2040, 2050, I feel like we're gonna be around the time of where
which is pretty far actually. That's like about
it's
30
it's
years.
far, but not that far. Like
Yeah,
as
30
as you see it
years.
from right now till then, it doesn't
Yeah,
seem far, but it's still pretty far.
I'll be old.
But I feel like society's gonna take a different turn sooner or later
Do you think
with stuff like that.
do you think AI will be a positive thing or negative?
I feel like it'll be the way it is now. It's gonna be both. You know, people are
Mm,
gonna use it for good. Some people are gonna use it for
yeah.
bad stuff. Um, but I feel like it's gonna be closer and closer to Ready Player One, Sword Art Online.
You know what anime that I've recently saw, probably like a month ago, a month or two ago, that it's on Netflix, and I never really got into it, but I saw it, and it's a short. It's just one, I think, one season. Remember Cyberpunk,
Yeah.
which I actually bought the game. It's actually really fun. I feel like with the introduction of Neuralink,
Hmm.
we're eventually gonna get to that point because right now the I don't remember the study, but we only know so much of our brain, right? And I think with Neuralink, we're gonna unlock new, like a lot higher understanding of how the brain works, to where they can probably integrate more AI into it,
Hmm.
to where eventually, like for example, if you break your back, they'll be able to make an upgrade,
Yeah.
to where because if they can instill tiny wires into your brain, you can't tell me they won't be able to do a surgery and put wires into your spine and connect it to your nerves.
Right.
Like your brain is the most sensitive thing that if they can do that right, I'm sure they can do everything else will just follow. So where people, if you break your back, like hey, this what is this? We have an upgrade. We're gonna give you this. How tall you want to be, or
Right.
how
Yeah.
like, you're not gonna have
Like
back pain.
starting to be like part android
Yes, like cyborg, yeah.
sort of deal, stuff like that.
And to the point where normal people will want to do that just because of they'll feel left behind if they don't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
Like,
probably if that came to fruition, I probably wouldn't do anything as far as like on purpose.
yeah,
But if it was to happen, then then yeah.
yeah.
But
I mean, if you lost an arm, why wouldn't you want to get a bionic one
yeah,
that
yeah,
probably works
to make your
better?
life easier or
Yeah,
back to normal stuff like
yeah.
that. But I don't know. It is getting pretty advanced, especially since we've only started it at what, like 10,
Dude, not that
15
long
years
ago,
ago.
bro. Yeah, I would say so. And then the robotics too. I sent you that video where
Yeah,
the robot
I've
can.
seen that one. I've seen that video, and it's crazy because of how it you can almost feel like it has emotion.
Yeah. Well,
Like
it's kind of using the Chat GPT.
yeah,
The Chat GPT, like it. Well, imagine if, because right now it's a little slow. Whenever you say something,
the
it's
processes still.
processes,
Yeah,
right? Imagine if that process takes milliseconds. I'm talking to you,
yeah.
and it's like talking back. I feel like it'll get to so in our company, uh, before our CEO sold the company, for $100 million, the last speech that they gave was of they gave an example of, think about it as a big lake, right? And for a long time, AI is a think about it as a faucet that's just dropping one water, and every time it multiplies twice,
Hmm.
right? That pond is just filling up, and it will get to a point where if AI gets that good, it'll multiply faster than, like you said, 2050 20. If it gets to a point where, because AI learns
Quick.
like quick, like in 1 year it could have learned what we learn in 10,000 years,
Yeah,
or 1,000 years. Let's just say, let's be generous to us and be 1,000 years, right? Imagine how much process it'll do if it starts writing its own code, which ChatGPT already kind of does on its own. It writes code. It can write simple games like was it Pong,
oh
where
yeah,
like
yeah,
it
Pong,
hits.
yeah.
Bro, like how long did it take that person to do it? And now that computer's doing it like that. That's
That's
crazy.
crazy. Yeah.
It'll get to a point where Ready Player One could be like, or Sword Art Online, where you jack into Or even on The Simpsons, I believe that they had an episode where I think Lisa goes like, "Oh, I'm gonna surf the web,"
I think they
and she
were doing,
connects it.
yeah, I think they were doing a parody off of Ready Player One. But yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, even if that happens in our timeline or time,
Time frame,
time frame, just to experience something like that and know that we were talked about it like
years.
10 years ago,
Yeah,
that'd be pretty cool. But it's also pretty scary,
yeah,
like how that robot was talking to the guy. Like, just
yeah.
imagine if the robot got its own, started making its own code and stuff like that, and you asked it the wrong question, or you
It gets
somehow
emotions.
you got it offended, and its
Yeah,
only natural response was to say something mean or angry or stuff, and it just kept
or
going like that.
act. Yeah, or act.
Yeah, and I
It,
feel like if once it opens, like the way the guy was talking to him was pretty calm and peaceful,
yeah,
but say you put it into someone that doesn't know how to talk to it, and it start writing its own code, and then it takes off from that. So like, say it writes its own code to try to defend itself,
yeah,
and like it just grows from that. So it technically learns a new emotion,
yeah.
but it doesn't know,
Well,
that it's an
imagine
emotion.
this too. Like you said, everybody uses it for good or bad, right? Like dynamite. Dynamite was created to help. Was it help?
The
Uh,
miners and stuff.
yeah, the miners, right?
Yeah.
But then the government got piece of it, and like they use it for war.
Yeah.
Imagine if they take a robot and then they create a soldier,
Yeah.
and then the soldier goes rogue, or it creates a code and it affects other robots, other soldiers, right? So that's one thing that kind of scares me. That it's kind of like the iRobot,
Mm-hmm.
where the mainframe, like everything, it has a set of rules. But if it gets smart enough to where, like you tell it, oh, I need you to protect the planet, and if okay, well, in order for me to protect the planet, the human species needs to
Yeah.
no
You
longer
don't give it like
exist.
a very detailed command.
Well, but even if you did, what if we start violating those commands? Like we become harmful. They're like if you tell it like I need you to protect the planet at this specific thing, and then we start breaking that. Oh, and or like it realizes that the only way for it to continue to survive
As if we're gone.
is if we're gone. Because
Yeah.
if you look at us, we're kind of like a virus. Like when we go into like for example New York, if you take a solar, like we killed all the forests, to build all those skyscrapers. We killed all the for like all the habitats for the animals. We kill.
Yeah.
And the bigger the cities get, the like
Less
less
nature.
nature, right? The less
Like
for animals, less for
what's
birds.
the place in New York, the where you
Manhattan.
the park, the only like it's
Oh, it's a
literally
big old
surrounded.
square, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah.
all pretty much that's left
Yeah,
of the nature that's was once there.
yeah.
So just imagine if that could happen to New York, like
Or that happened worldwide or
yeah.
something, which I don't know. I don't think we're overpopulated because apparently I don't know who said this. If it was Elon Musk or I could be wrong, but apparently if we were shoulder to shoulder, we could fit the entire human population, 8 billion of us or however many we are now, into like Los Angeles.
Mm.
And because like one of the biggest things too, whenever I always hear like, oh, we're overpopulated. If you're ever flying and you look down when we're starting to land or descend, like bro, all you see is land,
Mm-hmm.
like acres and acres, hundreds and thousands of acres of just like when we went to Colorado, and we're looking down and it's just nothing but just farmland or just the Rockies,
Yeah.
and it's like how are we overpopulated? You know what I mean? That is, or when you go into Mexico and you're driving and all you see is just deserts for miles and like nothing between like West off or what's the other one? And Laredo. I think it's West off. Yeah, West off.
Mm-hmm.
Is like the last major kind of city you see before you get to Laredo. And for like 2 hours, there's nothing.
Yeah, just empty.
So you get yeah empty. You better fill up at West off because you ain't gonna get nothing. Between so it's like man, that's for 2 hours. That's a long. That's a lot of acreage
Yeah.
that you just pass through of nothingness. So it's like I don't know, man. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, I can't wait to see the advancements that like AI turns into.
Yeah.
But I feel like it'll make things a lot easier as far as like jobs.
Well,
I
yeah,
know a lot of people would be laid off, but
yeah,
like say they made the AI as smart as to where it can, even take over manual labor jobs that
yeah.
are like physically demanding and stuff like that, or technical um, jobs as
Like
like
what?
mechanics and like oil field kind of jobs, plant jobs,
Yeah.
things where people you need
Well,
like
fast food, like fast food restaurants where they
yeah,
can.
but fast food you can make fast food on conveyor belt. Like I feel like
That's what
you
I'm saying. But like they, I think some like I think a McDonald's is experimenting with like it's just
robots,
yeah where it's all robotic and there's just like
but
I
I feel
think two people that humans that just maintain the robots and make sure that everything is running correctly.
but yeah, I'm talking about like the jobs like so like for mechanics, you can't replace a human with a robot in mechanics because we have you
Like the
physically have to go
diagnostics,
out
the
there
yeah,
and check like the tire wear and stuff like
yeah,
that. But if they get it advanced enough to where it can do that, we won't need those jobs. But I feel like
right,
if we don't work, then like everything will change as far as like
yeah,
we're not going to need to be using money anymore. It will just be like well the robots make it, nobody is working for it, so
yeah.
pretty much it's free sort of deal.
I see what you're saying. So like the
Like
cost
there's
of living should go down.
yeah, because all you got to do is
Yeah, yeah,
live.
yeah, yeah.
You get to enjoy whatever you want to do.
I don't know though, but do you think that would actually bring happiness to people? Because I feel
But
like,
see, the world we live in, I don't think that's gonna happen because it's obviously everything is always for profit.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Everybody,
yeah.
no one's gonna give you a
Nobody's gonna
life like
lower their,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Nobody's gonna lower their just because they found a better way.
to do it. Yeah,
More then doesn't mean that they're gonna lower their prices. If anything, they're just gonna keep them the same or increase them because their profits go up, right? Every
right.
year, what like each company wants to do. Oh, we need our profits to go up,
Yeah,
which I don't know, it's kind of crazy, but
that's my thoughts on it as far as
that makes sense though. It makes sense. But then if, for example, let's say 50% of the workforce goes out, right? Because a lot of people are technicians, a lot of people work in the
like
the
concrete,
restaurant services,
like
yeah, concrete. What would they do for a living? And I think one of the things that you are correct on is definitely we're going to be in a digital currency
mhm.
where they can, you don't have to worry about having cash because like even here, if you look at their the tolls,
Mm,
they took away the cash ones. Everything is easy tag.
mm,
So then it's like, why are they doing that? Oh, well, if you look into it, because they're getting rid of cash.
mm,
Like most places, like, do you carry cash? I very seldomly wear
yeah, I
cash.
barely. I mean, I only got like $3 in
That
dollar bills, but
yeah, so, and
yeah,
some
hardly ever
places I heard
carry.
that they're not even taking cash. They're just like, no, it's all card or it's
App,
plastic,
yeah,
which is what fake numbers. It's just numbers on a computer that tell you like, if you could get into it, you could just put zero, 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 zero,
yeah,
zero, you know what I mean? It's just numbers on a computer. So then, so then it's like, man, at that point, I think 93 or 95% of money that circulates is not real. Only like 5% of money it's actually. I could be wrong. It could be less. It could be 3% of money. I'm not sure. But it's a very few amount of the world like United States money is actually tangible. Like if you go to the bank and you're a multi millionaire,
hmm
you have hundreds of millions of dollars in the bank, and you're like, I want to get $100 million. They'll be like,
in cash.
yeah, in cash. First, they'll be like, bro, are you okay?
Yeah,
Are you getting ransom or like do you need? But you can't pull it out.
yeah, they don't have
They
it.
don't have it.
Yeah,
So then it's like, so all this is fake. Like at any time, if the grid goes out, you have nothing.
yeah, you're poor.
Yeah, everybody. It doesn't matter if you have hundreds of millions of dollars. If you can't access that money, you're broke because
Yeah,
everything is all plastic, computer. And I think that's one of the reasons why most multimillionaires. Everybody tells you invest in gold, invest in silver.
hmm
You know, uh, that not because of the it's a good investment, but it's good for protection,
just in
for
case
safety. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
everything
If everything
fails
fails, gold is always gonna be
for some
considered
reason. Yeah,
valuable. Yeah, for some reason. Yeah,
and then for some reason, yeah, but I've heard stuff like that, like invest in gold and diamonds and stuff like that.
yeah.
But
Which diamonds? I don't know
yeah, I
because
don't know
it's.
about that, but it's someone made it valuable,
Hmm.
and if no
Yeah.
one and if that person never made it valuable, what would we have now?
Why do you think they have? Why is gold so valuable? Like, why is that? Is it because it's because it comes? it's like inherited because our ancient people coveted gold.
Yeah,
Is it? I wonder if it's because it's a good. It's the best conductor
yeah.
of electricity. Like
They might have
it's really
healing.
soft.
They might have like healing properties or something. I don't know.
Well, I heard that the if you make it into sand, it can actually heal the atmosphere.
Yeah.
So that's interesting too.
So it might have other properties other than it being shiny
Yeah, that
and
we don't
soft.
know about that we haven't even been able to think about because a lot of
Or
the
maybe
electronics and this like computers they
they
have
have gold in
gold.
them. Yeah,
Yeah,
the motherboards and stuff like that,
yeah.
circuit boards.
Hmm.
But I feel like if that's the case, then probably someone found a solution for it as far as like the best that it can do. Like maybe it can heal something or heal someone,
Yeah.
and someone found that, so they're making it to where this is a valuable thing. Y'all can
Mm.
have little bits of it, but it's valuable.
That's interesting because even in like biblical times, they've always it's always been gold and silver, like in precious stones,
Mm-hmm.
like rubies, sapphires, emeralds.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Maybe just
interesting.
ask AI, see
Yeah, see what it comes
see
up with,
see
right?
if it comes up with anything interesting.
That's one of the things that I'm too dumb to understand is the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is it in 1999? I think that's when it first started to come out. I don't believe I could be wrong, but like to me, and uh I've asked like tech people like that are like they know about computers and they're like, yeah, it's just a bunch of servers. It's like, but how did the first person figure out if I make these servers I can create an virtual world?
Mm-hmm.
Like how did that even come about? Like how did you for me, I guess if I ever get to speak with Elon or speak with somebody like in that freaking brilliant level is like explain to me how would somebody figure out or who created the internet? Like who invented it? Like who was the first person?
Jobs, I think.
Was it Jobs? Steve Jobs?
I think so.
I thought he created the iPhone.
Well, he's the founder of Apple, or
Well,
no,
no because
BIM or B.
it had to be whenever the people were making computers. It had to be what's his name, Bill Gates.
Yeah, there you go. That's the guy I was trying to think of. But I feel like
Cause
if you want to know how something is
well,
created,
I don't know.
so you take it back to before the internet. What was
Yeah,
before the internet?
cause they had
Telephones.
computers before the internet.
Well, yeah, they had computers, but before that, it was that. So I feel like it started off from communication. So the
Yeah.
first couple of communication ways they did
Mm.
is the telephone,
Yeah.
and then that was wired, right?
Right.
So then they went to radio. Radio was transmitted.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
But
after,
see, I feel like radio has always been there. We just discovered it. Like radio waves.
yeah,
Like the apparently that's how they figured out the Big Bang.
and then after radio was long distance sorted, I guess radio or telephone
Yeah.
communication, and it just evolved from the previous thing. So
Yeah.
they took that from telephone and then they added a screen to it. So it's the same
Cause
it's the
dial
same
up, right?
principles. Yeah, it's the same principles.
Yeah.
It's just they're adding to it, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
just
They're
eventually
just stacking.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's interesting though. But then that would mean that the internet had always been there. You just had to like the ability for us to the ability for the humanity to transfer data through the air.
hmm
Because if you think about it right now, how many phone calls, how many radio waves, how many videos are going through us right now?
I feel like it's not. And is I don't think it's all wireless. I feel like most of the internet's wired stuff, especially if it's long distance, because
What do you
they're
mean? Oh,
so
you think it's not like going through the air
no. I think it's
and
all through cables because they've proved it that there's thick wires running from
this country.
this
Yeah,
country
yeah,
to the
yeah.
next
I've seen
country,
that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I mean yeah they probably the Wi-Fi sort like close range stuff probably is wireless,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like anything as far as like the internet goes, it's all wired.
But how you thinking about like for example your cell phone? That's not wired.
The what?
Your cell phone. You have internet on your cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
That's not wired.
Well, yeah, because we're in close proximity of towers.
Mm.
So like if you wanna,
Oh, so
so
the tires are wired,
yeah, the towers are
right?
wired
And
to other
then
towers,
okay.
and so on and so
I
on.
mean, hey,
But
this
from
guy's pretty smart, girl.
from the
Technician. Look at
from
him.
the
Look at him.
phone, yeah, from the phone to other
Yeah,
phones,
yeah, yeah.
it's probably wireless
That makes
because
sense. That
it's
makes
within
sense.
range of whatever. But I mean, I feel like if you're gonna make a phone call strictly from wireless phone from this phone to like somewhere in England, it probably won't reach.
You don't think so?
I think it goes from this phone to the tower to the cables that go towards the closest tower to the, I guess, somewhere
Dude,
in
that's crazy.
South Carolina,
Yeah,
and then from there it transfers to another wire, you know,
yeah.
stuff like that.
Dude, that's crazy to think about that you can call somebody like other side of the world. Cause I remember when I was young, and I might be aging myself, but to call from Etna, you know where Etna's at, to Victoria, which is only a 20,
30 minutes.
20 minutes.
Oh,
I
Edna,
think it's
yeah, like
yeah, I know
20 minutes.
about 20 minutes. That used to be considered a long distance call.
Yeah,
Like, and they would charge you pretty money. Now it's like, well, you're calling Mexico. You can call somebody in China. You can call somebody in Great Britain if you
yeah,
have a friend over there, and it's like free practically. You can call them through freaking Facebook.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it was before, like, I guess in the 2000s, it was like that was long distance.
Yeah, bro. You were paying like crazy amount a minute.
Yeah, and now it's just like, well, let me call my friend in Korea.
Yeah, or in Japan
Yeah,
or wherever. You know, it's freaking crazy.
and
It's
it's free pretty much.
yeah. Pretty soon you're gonna be able to put a headset on and appear at their living room.
Yeah, freaking. I don't know. That's pretty crazy. Like if AI gets that advanced to where it makes you smell, touch, and feel. Well,
Dude,
smell, touch, and see
or
and
like Ready
taste.
Player One. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know about taste, but I definitely think that they can get the smell. Ah, I think that'd be a little harder. So the touch, the visual, and the hearing.
yeah,
The three. So there's five, right?
yeah.
Like
Five
senses.
senses. Yeah,
So I think they can get those: the touch, the visual, and then the hearing for sure. And then because it smells a lot, there's a lot of like, how would you put that into a headset? Unless you have it to where you connect it to that neural link, and then
like
it
mimics.
mimics, yeah,
The
it hits
taste.
those receptors in your
Yeah,
brain that, oh, I'm tasting chicken or I'm tasting however. That's what I'm saying. The neural link will
yeah,
ever get evolved to where, you know how you do an MRI or where they're seeing your brain, they're like, oh, well, they're showing you pictures and they see the where your brain action or
yeah,
where the fire is firing. I think with Neuralink, if they can have it that same system, they'll be able to like pinpoint exactly like when you're eating a chicken, this part of your brain fired up. When you're eating steak, oh, this part like there's this very specific thing popped up. So then eventually they'll get it to where if you're jacked up into a headset, they'll be able to trigger those emotions.
hmm
That'd be crazy, bro. Like to where like if you playing a video game, we're big well Call of Duty and Fortnite. Imagine playing Fortnite in a visual game,
yeah.
like
Like actually
headset,
being there.
but like actually being there, yeah,
Yeah,
and
that'd
be
be
able
pretty
to
cool.
put the upgrades and fly like the I don't know if they changed it
Like
recently.
Population One,
Yeah,
like
like
the VR
yes,
game
yeah, yeah, yeah,
where
yeah.
you're.
But more realistic to
Yeah,
where
yeah,
like you get shot and you feel it,
yeah.
you know.
That'd be pretty cool. I feel like that's how it's gonna be, especially if from 20 what 2005 2010 till now
I
we
think
advanced
2030, bro. I think it'll get pretty crazy
we
because,
advanced that far in between
yeah,
that short time span. We went from a flip phone
yeah,
to a touchscreen phone in 2 years, 3 years, and then from that touchscreen phone to an AI phone,
yeah.
supposedly. You know, that's
Well, it's like a virtual assistant to where, like, for example, a lot of people are using ChatGPT to do their homework,
yeah,
ChatGPT to do their college homework.
yeah,
And this is ChatGPT 3
yeah.
that they have the ChatGPT. Imagine when they have like ChatGPT 11,
Right.
and it could happen pretty quickly.
I mean, and that's what I'm talking about. I feel like it's gonna be. It might be closer than you think. Like it might be fucking,
5 years from
five
now,
years from now. But like I just got this phone today, and it says I'm not advertising anything, but it's
sponsored by.
Samsung the Samsung 24, Galaxy 24
Yeah.
AI. Uh, if you have someone on the phone that's speaking a different language, you can hold a button and it will translate it for you.
That's pretty cool.
And also text messages, like if same thing,
Yeah, yeah,
if someone sends you a message in a different language and you don't know how to
yeah.
read
Yeah.
it, it'll translate it for you. And then if you want to respond, you just type in that message, it'll automatically translate it for
Hmm.
you and then send it.
Dude,
Which
that is actually very like convenient, especially like if you have like for people that may like are like for example us
hmm
that were into cars, JDM cars. To if you get a friend, you go visit Japan, you make a friend, and to be able to actually communicate with
yeah,
them,
break that communication barrier.
right? Not only on the phone, but be able to like text,
Yeah.
and they'll be you'll like what does it say? Who knows? It was
Yeah.
all
And then
it's
they obviously
crazy.
have the camera, inside of it to where you just hold it up to a like a
Oh,
foreign
right,
language
and they
and it
can
translates
translate
it
it.
for
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
That's been out for a while, but
yeah.
I don't know.
I'm sure it's getting better. It's gotten a lot better because I know on some of the stuff it would like not
Which
be exactly
yeah.
correct. But I'm
But
sure that has gotten improved
but
way,
yeah, I mean if
a
we're
lot better.
already this far in AI with like I mean it feels like it's not that much, but
Right.
if we're already this far in AI, just imagine in the next like 5 years.
And that's only been like in 10 years. Because
Yeah.
if you think about it, like back when you were in high school, like the amount of technology that was
Mm-hmm.
available to you in high school compared to now,
Mm-hmm.
like it's just been how many years? For me, I think it's a little over 10.
And yeah, everything like I feel like it's gonna get easier for people to start learning how to do things,
I was like
cause
15. Oh shit, I'm old.
like before it would take you like say you wanted to learn a sport or to learn a game,
Yeah.
it would take someone back then, or we'll even say like play an instrument.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
back in the day, it used to
yeah,
take months, years to
yeah,
master something. Nowadays with so much information and even introducing AI, like you can learn an instrument or a task within like a month.
yeah.
Like you have these people not knowing what this is. 2 months, 3 months later, they're like
Experts.
experts,
Yeah,
and then within 2 years, they're already masters at it.
yeah. Well, like one of the things that whenever you brought that up, music is I don't know if it's the Oculus or if it's the Vision, the Apple Vision
Oh,
Pro,
I think it's the Oculus. It teaches you piano.
where it teaches you piano and the keys.
Yeah,
Like that's insane. Imagine if the later on they get it to where it could teach you the drums, like where it's like showing you
it
how to
does.
hit.
There's already that.
That's crazy. I didn't know that. I was just talking,
Yeah,
or guitar, like where it's like showing you a virtual hand and it's showing you, okay, you go from here. I don't know how to play guitar,
yeah,
so you might criticize like, oh, you're not supposed to do this, but like it makes you
right.
move,
So I
and you
mean,
see it, and then you just follow it.
it's already a lot of that stuff has already come out as
Yeah,
far as with the help of the technology, but I feel with AI it's gonna improve in that
yeah,
to where like if you put a camera on you, you don't need a physical teacher. You just need AI
yeah,
looking
yeah,
at you, and it'll tell you like, oh, you need to put your finger,
yeah.
this part of the guitar, or that's not the right key on the piano, or uh, you know, your sights are off on your
And you pew
pistol,
pew.
on your pew pew, and you need to adjust
Yeah.
the front of it down or something.
Paquita's job
Yeah,
is on the line.
yeah. It'll eventually start training you
Well, it's funny
how
about
to
that
use
because
it.
I actually sent Jaramillo a video, one of our friends, where he's an instructor for firearms. So give him a shout out. If you're in the Porlovac area and you want to learn about firearms, definitely go hit him up. Um, but there's in the Oculus there's like a range,
Oh, the
like
training
the
range.
training range
Yeah.
where like it's literally the competitions that he does. It's literally just like that where you're behind cover and then you're going around and you're hitting your targets,
hmm
and they have it to where that you actually have a handgun on it. So you put the controller like kind of how like the
Yeah,
mine,
5 years. Yeah.
but it's an actual pistol,
hmm
and it's like you have to push the button, reload, rack, like everything. Well, not rack, but like or do
Yeah,
you?
yeah, there is.
I think you got rack,
Uh,
but the controller's on top
well,
to
there's the
where
one I sent you.
it's a virtual rack.
I sent you the one where the controller itself is its own controller, like the
Yeah,
handgun is its own controller,
yeah,
and it has the mag release. It has everything.
yeah,
It
yeah,
has a rack, everything, and all you do is press a button. It drops the mag like a couple centimeters, and then you
yeah,
can
yeah,
put
yeah,
it
yeah,
back.
yeah.
So I
That's
mean,
pretty sick.
if that's where everything is going, I feel like a lot of those jobs are gonna go away too, as far as like piano teachers
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and like range
Well, it's like
instructors.
libraries, right?
Yeah,
It's the new libraries.
libraries are going
Yeah.
away. So
I think we'll eventually have to get to a point where we'll get our money like Ready Player One,
yeah.
where it is you playing a video game and you earn currency,
Hmm.
um, to be able to live because it's going to, and I feel like it's already starting right now. It's starting to be the, like for example, I'm not a multi-millionaire. I'm not rich. I'm not, yeah, I do good for myself, but like we're able to put content out and become, creators, even though you could have literally just your phone and you could be a content creator. Like I feel like right now the people, it's all about entertainment, and the, like before it used to be the industry, like the, like when our parents were young, our age or even younger,
Hmm.
it was like their things to do was being like in factories or being like, because there was no technology, there was nothing, like being aspirational and be like, oh, I want to be a singer, I want to be a actor, I want to be this. It was so unattainable unless you had the right connections, that nowadays like anybody could be discovered anywhere. Like
Yeah,
you could be a local talent back in the day, and nobody would ever know about you.
yeah,
You could have the greatest voice, and nobody would ever know about you just because you didn't, you were poor.
right.
You were from El Rancho.
Then
You know what
sometimes,
I mean?
yeah, nowadays people get discovered without even knowing or trying.
Yeah.
As far as like, I'll give an example. Like, I was playing or I was watching TikTok and I saw a video of a game called what's that one game called? The one with the that I wanted you to buy.
I know what you're talking about. The one where it's like it's like Among Us,
Yeah,
but yeah, yeah.
Lethal Company.
Okay.
So I was watching a video of that gameplay, and the guy's friend got taken away by a monster, and him screaming at the monster like "Give me back my friend,"
Yeah.
like that could have easily made him a voice actor because of how well he did it.
Mm.
I mean, he might have not been trying to,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
it was
He was
yeah, it
just
was just
being
being
funny.
himself.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, like if someone can get discovered, just by not even noticing that they're gonna get discovered, that's
Yeah.
pretty crazy from now and then.
Yeah, and imagine how much further technology is just gonna get to. And one of the biggest things too that I've seen on, I don't know if it was a TikTok or it was on YouTube. You know how is like in China, like um, influencers, like they have influencers factories
Hmm.
where they're like have rooms, like little bit rooms of, and they're like cubicles
Hmm.
of people just doing different things, but all having a camera and just doing like influence,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's like, damn, like that's how you know where where the money is going. It's all about
Online.
being online.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's all about your footprint online.
Hmm.
Who knows you? How many people are following? Because nowadays is, I saw this skit where there's like this couple that I guess now they're become real famous. I think she's Hispanic and he's, I can't remember if he's Hispanic as well. But they're like, they put some wigs on like being old, and they're at dinner with their daughter, and the new like thing was like, oh, this guy does, how many followers does he have?
Hmm.
Oh, he only has like 300. Baby, that's nothing. Like he just with you for your followers,
Yeah.
and it's like,
It's not about money no more.
yeah, it's not about
It's
money. It's
about
about,
followers
yeah,
and
who's
stuff
you
like that. Yeah.
following, or yeah, it's like it's just crazy how times have been changing. Well, let's get into our final topic of what happened with that bridge, bro, in
Oh, in Baltimore?
Baltimore.
That's not. The ship crashed into it.
I know, but that look iffy, bro. Because if you, I don't know, if you haven't seen the video, definitely you could definitely find it, and people have actually already broke it down to where they said that I don't know why you would want to demolition a bridge or what was happening, but you can clearly see where it is getting demolition, where the boat comes in, like it literally does a U-turn for whatever reason. The lights are flickering on it, like it's having like
Maybe
it's losing
someone's.
power or
Yeah.
something's happening with it, and it like goes and hits right on the, like the pillar, but like it like that stops the ship, and then nothing happens for like a little bit, and then you just see it collapse. But then when the people went down and broke it down, you could see explosions happening on each part of like anchor, I guess, or
Mm.
like the main. I don't know what you would call. I'm not an engineer, but uh, you could see it where on the knuckles or on the joints, where you could see it
Like
like exploding.
the load
Yeah, the load
bearing.
bearings joints are
Yeah.
just getting demolished or destroyed, and it's like, why do you think they would do that?
Like I said with the as
Why
far
not
as
just
the
like, hey, we're gonna take over this bridge and we're gonna make another one, or
like I said
why?
as far as what the like the eclipse sort of deal.
Hmm.
I feel like they're doing it to insinuate like
When did it happen?
stuff. Like a week ago, maybe a couple of days ago. I saw it on Sunday or
Okay,
Monday.
that's interesting. So is that bridge like the only way in and out of that
So that I
part?
think that bridge is one of the it's the ninth biggest port. I think it was the ninth biggest port in the U.S.
And that bridge was one of the that
So
help.
if that bridge is done, like there's no boats can get by, you know. So if
Oh, cause it's on the.
well, there's it's
Yeah, all
debris
the
everywhere.
debris. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So in that being one of the ninth biggest ports in the United States, how bad would that affect
The economy. Yeah, yeah.
you
Getting all your
getting goods and
supplies. Yeah,
stuff like
yeah.
that?
Not only
Uh,
that, food.
yeah, and so like if they can do that to that just one and see how bad it messes things up. Imagine if they do that to other ones.
There's no port here.
Yeah, and then there's people saying that it's also part of another cyber attack because that's one of the reasons the lights were going on and off on the ship.
But the
But
explosions don't seem
yeah,
cyber. You
I don't
know,
know. It's a whole bunch of different
conspiracies.
conspiracies coming in
But
for
that
from
is
that.
weird, bro. Because see, then the problem that I have, right? That whenever people are like, oh, all these conspiracies, well, it kind of can't be a conspiracy if you're seeing it explode.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's not like you're like assuming. No, you see it. It's dark. It's like at night. If they were gonna do that, do that. I don't know why they didn't do it in the day.
yeah,
But you can clearly see bright light explosion of a bomb every single place
hmm,
where it starts to fall, because it doesn't fall like where it hits. It didn't collapse there, and like the whole thing fell.
yeah,
Like you would assume that okay, they hit that, then part of it would fall,
yeah.
but not the whole entire thing. The length of
Of the whole bridge.
the whole bridge,
Yeah.
covering the whole river.
Unless, well, I don't know. I'm not an engineer either, but if it's a suspended bridge, then maybe.
But it wasn't because he
Yeah.
hit. If it was suspended,
It had
it wouldn't have anything to hit.
yeah, it had two pillars, the two middle pillars,
Yeah,
and then it had the two on the
yeah.
at the ends of them. I don't know. That's pretty. That's a
But
good question.
what you said was very interesting, bro. Because it's like I said before, they're like I feel like I don't want to say it, but I feel like something is going to happen. Like I don't think it's I think it's gonna be self inflicted. Like they want it to happen.
Hmm.
Like they want chaos and they want people to be hungry because when you're hungry you do you do anything and everything to be able to
Survive.
survive.
Yeah, and help your family and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
And if everybody's in that mentality, then it's like,
They
well,
have
I'm
to.
gonna I'm gonna protect my own. Then somebody comes in, and then it's just like a snowball effect,
So
you know?
it's gonna be like sort of like if they're gonna do that to us. Obviously, they're gonna make us pretty much break us down to where they can control us again. Because I feel like
Like COVID.
yeah, like I feel like a lot of people are going away from what they want us to do,
Mm-hmm.
and so like in order to bring us back in, they're gonna cause a disaster and be like, if you don't follow
Behave.
behave, we're not gonna give you these resources that
Yeah.
you're needing. And people that with families are obviously gonna be the first one to cave because they gotta support their family
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
That's the thing that always worries me, and the one thing that's very like biblical, where it says "mark of the beast,"
Mm-hmm.
and I think I've said this in another podcast where I think the mark of the beast or the be one world currency, and I
Or
think
one world
the
religion and stuff like that.
yeah will be one world religion, one world currency. I think the currency has to be digital, because if it's cash, you can always do it under the table, right? Like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
bro, I'm gonna sell you this thing. But if it's digital, there's a footprint. No matter how much they say, oh, the blockchain, all this,
Mm-hmm.
that blockchain still has a origination IP
Mm-hmm.
address that they can like, oh, well, we see that you sold this from here. You know, if they get access to it. So then, and because in the Bible it says that you if you don't have the mark, you won't be able to sell or buy. So then, because a lot of people, because I even talked about this with my father-in-law. Um, uh, is like if imagine if you can't buy or sell, right? Well, then that means where are you gonna live? Because if you can't buy or sell, that means you can't pay your property taxes. If you can't pay your property taxes, what does the government do? Because you don't own anything.
Mm-hmm.
They'll take the house. They'll repo it. They'll like after a while, they're just like, okay, you didn't pay your property taxes. Somebody else can come pay for it. You get kicked out. You get evicted. So then all the people that don't have the mark of the beast, they're gonna be easily identified. They're
Mm-hmm.
gonna be homeless. You know what I mean? And then people that maybe know better will probably take it just to be able to get the hey, if you if you take this mark, I'll give you your house back.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you your how much were you making before?
Yep.
Or you were making 250,000? Okay, I'll give you that allowance because it's all fake.
Yeah.
Like it's like V-Bucks on thing. You can just keep making money.
Yeah.
If it's a virtual currency, it has no value. They can just add like right now, we're printing trillions and trillions of dollars. Money is not real. It's fake. They can just keep printing money. Oh, how much do we need? Oh, we need another billion to Ukraine. Cool. Print it out. It's fake.
Yeah. That's scary.
That's what I'm saying, right? So no, because have you ever thought about it like that?
Yeah. Yeah. I've thought about it like that. I mean, it's kind of it takes you
To a dark place.
to a dark place and it takes you into thought for like the longest time because you're trying to like figure out every little thing that
Yeah,
could go wrong,
because
could
then because
possibly
then you
happen.
because we were thinking like okay, well we just buy land and live off the land, right?
Yeah.
But then I was thinking it's like well fuck, you still gotta pay property taxes on that land,
Mm-hmm.
and then they're gonna know like okay you didn't pay, get out. So then what do? You go out and just live on somebody else's land. Hopefully you don't get shot.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's definitely I don't know, man. If you it sucks to say because if you don't go through it, then your kids might go through it. And if their kids don't go through it, then their kids like it's gonna happen eventually.
Mm-hmm.
It's written, and if you believe in the Bible, you know that 100% of everything that has ever been written in that book has come to pass.
Mm-hmm.
So I
History
don't know.
repeating itself and stuff like that.
Yeah, like one of the biggest things that I've seen is have you seen that the cycle like every 80 years
Yeah.
the cycle repeats
Mm-hmm.
you know that and I believe that's where we're at right now. We're on the fourth turning. I think that's a great book. It's called the fourth turning, which that's where we're at. We're in the age of chaos
Where it's
where
about to, I was about to break
and it
loose.
always ends with with the world war
Yeah.
or with the great war,
Yeah.
whether it comes from all the way from Rome to Babylon to it always ends in a like a major war.
It might not be other countries or it might just be us with ourselves.
Yeah, civil war.
Yeah. So that's pretty scary.
Yeah. But with that, guys, we leave y'all, in thought. Thank you for watching. If you have made it this far, please subscribe. Thank you, and I appreciate y'all.